The first line of the file is a 911 transcript from a college dorm in St. Louis, MO, dated 2003-11-12 at 2:45. The caller, a sophomore named Daniel, reports a sudden, overwhelming stench of rotting hair that permeated the entire building, followed by a swarm of insects that appeared overnight. He describes seeing shadowy figures in his peripheral vision and experiencing daily bouts of sleep paralysis. The dispatcher notes the caller's voice trembles and the call ends abruptly after the caller says, "I can't breathe." The transcript is redacted for privacy, but retains the timestamp and the phrase "stinking hair," which appears in multiple subsequent logs. The file begins with this raw, unfiltered account, establishing the anomaly's first documented impact on a human subject and setting the tone for a clinical investigation that will follow.
On 2003-9-15, an Oregon antiques dealer lists a small antique wine cabinet on eBay under the title Dybbuk box. The listing includes a photo of a plain wooden box, 18 inches tall, with a carved Hebrew word that appears to spell Shalom. The seller claims the box belonged to a Holocaust survivor who trapped a Dybbuk inside. The listing is flagged by the eBay fraud department, but remains live until 2003-10-1 when it is removed. The buyer, a college student in Missouri, receives the box in late October. The buyer's email to the seller contains a brief apology for the delay and a request for a shipping receipt. The email is preserved in the file, showing the buyer's initial curiosity and the seller's insistence on the box's cursed nature. The auction's metadata, including IP addresses and payment details, are redacted but noted in the file as potential leads.
Within days of receiving the box, the student reports that the house fills with the stench of rotting hair at random times, and insects infest the property overnight. He writes a blog entry, later scrubbed from the web, describing shadowy figures in his peripheral vision and daily bouts of sleep paralysis. The blog post is recovered from a cached copy and included in the file. The entry is dated 2003-11-5 and contains the phrase, "The box is alive." The student's roommate, a graduate student in physics, notes that the room's temperature drops by 5 degrees Fahrenheit when the box is opened, even though the HVAC is off. The roommate's log is preserved with a timestamp of 2003-11-7-312. The file also contains a photo of the box on a table, the light source off, showing a faint glow emanating from the carved Hebrew word. The glow is described as a low, pulsing light that appears to change color from amber to blue over a 30-second interval.
The FBI's Occult Artifacts Unit takes custody of the box in early 2004. The unit's lead scientist, Dr. Laura Clarkson, conducts a series of tests. The wood is identified as oak, with no chemical anomalies. However, instruments detect high electromagnetic field readings when the box is closed, with peak values of 12.4 microtesla, exceeding the normal background of 0.5 microtesla. The unit also finds a lock of blonde hair bound with string, a dried rose bud, a goblet, and a carved Hebrew word that appears to spell shalom. The hair is sent to a forensic lab and identified as belonging to a male, 32 years old, with a DNA profile that matches no known database entries. The rose bud shows no signs of decomposition, and the goblet is made of ceramic with no trace of soot or burn marks. The unit's report is redacted for security, but retains the key findings: high EMF, presence of hair, and the carved word. The report is dated 2004-2-15 and signed by Dr. Clarkson.
On 2004-3-2, a technician named Mark Thompson, with no prior history of epilepsy, collapses in the lab while inspecting the box. He experiences a grand mal seizure lasting 45 seconds, after which he is unconscious for 12 hours. The incident is recorded on the lab's body cam, which shows Mark's face contorted, his hands clutching the box. The body cam footage is corrupted after 0, 12, and 7 seconds, showing a static burst that obscures the final seconds of the seizure. The lab's incident report, dated 2004-3-2-1430, notes that the EMF meter spiked to 18.7 microtesla at the time of the seizure. The report is redacted for privacy, but retains the timestamp and the phrase, unexplained neurological event. The incident triggers a review of all personnel safety protocols.
Rabbi Eliyahu is called in on 2000 and Formanus 10 after a series of electronic malfunctions. Lights flicker, computers crash, and a security camera records a brief, indistinct figure moving behind the box. The rabbi performs a binding ritual over the box, reciting verses from the Shema and placing a silver amulet over the carved Hebrew word. The ritual lasts 90 minutes, during which the EMF readings drop to 0.8 microtesla. After the ritual, the lab reports a noticeable decrease in anomalous activity. The lights no longer flicker, the computers no longer crash, and the security camera records a clear image of the box with no figures. The rabbi's report, dated 2000 and Formanus 12, notes that the box's energy field is now stable. The report is redacted for security but retains the key phrase, binding successful.
Following the ritual, the FBI places the box in a secure evidence vault at the agency's headquarters. The vault is a climate-controlled room with reinforced steel walls, EMF shielding, and a biometric access system. The box is sealed in a lead-lined container, and labeled item is considered cursed. Do not open. The containment protocol includes a daily EMF check, a weekly visual inspection, and a quarterly review by the Occult Artifacts Unit. The first containment log, dated 2000 and Formanus 5-1, records an EMF reading of 0.6 microtesla and notes that the container shows no signs of tampering. The log is redacted for security, but retains the date and the phrase, no breach detected.
In the months following containment, no further incidents are reported. The FBI's occult unit continues to monitor the box, but all logs show normal readings. The unit's final report, dated 2000 and Formanus 12-15, states that the box remains stable and that no further anomalous activity has been detected. The report is redacted for security, but retains the key phrase, no further anomalies. The report also notes that the box was photographed for archival purposes, with a simple image of the wooden cabinet, innocuous in appearance, and a warning notation. Item is considered cursed, do not open.
A memo from the FBI's Occult Artifacts Unit, dated 2000 and 5-2-20, addresses the need for continued vigilance. The memo states that if the box is ever transferred or studied, it must remain sealed per the rabbi's strict instructions to prevent any possible unbinding of whatever is within. The memo is signed by the unit's director, with a note that the box's presence in federal storage is a reminder of the limits of human control over the unknown. The memo is redacted for security, but retains the phrase, cursed object, and the date.
In 2012, a Hollywood film titled The Dybbuk Box is released, loosely based on the case. The film's promotional materials reference the box's cursed nature, but the FBI's official stance remains guarded. The film's release triggers a spike in public interest, with several online forums discussing the box's authenticity. The FBI issues a statement dated 2012-7-15, clarifying that the box is in federal custody and that no public access is permitted. The statement is redacted for security, but retains the phrase public safety and the date.
The file is recovered in 2017 as part of the Vault 7 declassification effort. The leak anchor is noted as 2017 Vault 7, indicating that the file was released during the broader release of classified documents. The file's metadata shows a timestamp of 2017-4-12, with the file's classification level changed from top secret to restricted. The file is now available to researchers under strict conditions, with redactions remaining in place for sensitive information. The leak anchor is included in the file's header, noting the date and the source of the release.
The final entry in the file is a note from a technician in 2019, dated 2019-8-3, who reports that while conducting a routine EMF check on the box, the meter displayed a brief spike to 22.1 microtesla, followed by a sudden drop to 0. The technician records the event as unexplained anomaly. The note is redacted for security, but retains the phrase EMF spike. The file ends with a single line. If the box is ever opened, the world may not be the same. The line is not part of the original report, but appears in the file's final page, suggesting a lingering warning that the box's presence continues to haunt those who study it.